Welcome in, Kenyon Murray, standing here for Celebrity Night here tonight at Indian Hills. What's it like to be back here after so many years away?
It's fun. The biggest thing is seeing familiar faces and just kind of rekindling some of those old friendships. I think there's some things that have changed here at Indian Hills since I've been gone, but a lot of things are the same. There's a lot of things that are in progress when I left, some buildings and different things like that. So for me, it's just coming back. This is the place where I got my first coaching start and kind of jump-started my career in coaching and teaching. So a lot of great memories here at Indian Hills.
You mentioned some changes. Maybe that's kind of the biggest thing anytime someone returns to one of their old stomping grounds. What was the biggest change maybe that you've seen so far that surprised you?
Well, I guess usually the bigger changes are who's here, who's not here. You see the different personnel changes. Obviously, new president. When I left here, Dr. Lindenmeyer was the president, and so that's where you kind of see the biggest changes is who's where. Athletic directors, teachers, professors, that kind of thing. So, but for me, it's just fun to get back and see those faces and kind of figure out what everybody's doing. Who's retired now and those kind of things. So. For me, it's just more about the friendships and just seeing where everybody is right now in their career and their life. And for me, most people are asking about my kids. So, I'm kind of like second or third when it comes to anything that they ask about the Murray family. So.
And then in terms of Celebrity Night here, how nice is it to come back for a fundraiser that raises funds for students as they try to get their life started?
Well, the one thing about Indian Hills that I learned while I was here is it's a great institution. It's a great start for kids. And so to have a night that really focuses on the ability of Indian Hills to help those kids reach their academic goals is a phenomenal privilege for me to be able to come and do it and to have me speak. I have an English degree. My background is in education, so for me it was a no-brainer to come back and talk about this because the one thing that I know Indian Hills to do is to provide opportunities for kids. And when you talk about education, that's really what anybody wants. And a night like this that can help raise funds for scholarships is something that I would never have passed up.
And then obviously, in part with that your degree, as you mentioned, you've got a lot of coaching experience, a lot of maybe picking up young men, so kind of maybe a natural thing to you to kind of relay some wisdom that you have for some young kids.
Yeah, I hope so. I came to the University of Iowa, over 20 years ago, and my goal was not to play basketball at the professional level. My goal was to get an education and to be a professional. And so to be able to come back and talk a little bit about my own journey, to talk about what Indian Hills has meant to me, and hopefully that'll jumpstart some people to look at giving back to such a fine institution. For me, it's something that I think when you're asked to do, you just have to. It's just part of it. It's part of giving back. It's part of being and helping that next group of leaders that will basically be taking care of us as we get old. So, so for me, it's a special night, and I'm happy to be here.
And then in terms of the Hawkeyes, now you mentioned there quite a long time ago. The team's a lot different nowadays. Earlier you were talking about how you kind of got to follow them along. How do you think they did this year, and where do you think their ceiling or their next step is?
Well, first of all, you got to start at the top. We have a really good coach. I've known Coach McCaffrey since I was 15, so through the whole recruiting process when he was at Notre Dame. And I think what he's doing is he's definitely given Iowa a persona. It's a different persona than some of the other coaches that we've had. I played for Tom Davis, and obviously one of the best coaches I've ever played for has been in the Big Ten. But I think Fran's done a good job. It'll be a little bit different next year, the team, with some of the losses, but I think the foundation that he's built is good. I think that he's really engaged the fan base again, and people are excited about what's coming. They may not know, there's a lot of unknowns, but I think that's part of the excitement as far as what's Fran going to do next. We've been in the tournament the last couple of years, and so I think he's got a lot of good things to build on as he moves forward.
And then I'm not sure how many games you actually got to watch, but one of those pieces that's missing, Aaron White, trying to get in the NBA. What have you seen from him in some of the games you may have been able to see?
I think he's really versatile. That's the biggest thing. I think he reminds me a lot of, some people said Dirk Nowitzki, but I don't think he's as good a shooter, but I think he can play 2 or 3 different positions. He's real athletic, slight of build, good defender. So I think he'll have a chance. I'm not sure if he'll get drafted in the first round. It may even be better for him to be a free agent to kind of pick and choose where he wants to go. But I think Aaron definitely has a chance to play at the NBA level. And if he falls short there, I think he can have a very lucrative career overseas. But he'll be a huge loss for us next year and be tough to fill.
And then your other, I guess, it's kind of honorary alma mater at Indian Hills here. They had a pretty successful season, fell a little short in the national tourney. What do you think of where they are right now? And obviously they've made some big recent changes on their end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because the one thing about junior college basketball is there's a revolving door. You have a couple years to get players in, get them acclimated to your system before they're going, and you're trying to find some new players. I think talent-wise, they've always had a really high level of talent here, and it's just a matter of how a coach can bring them in, instill a philosophy, instill a discipline in them within, a few months of being on campus to get ready to play. So the one thing that they have done here is win. I was a part of that, so I know Indian Hills won't take too many steps that way. It's one of those things where the fan base, there's a lot of pressure to win, but I think it's a good thing, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why they had so many people interested when the position came open. And I have no doubts that they'll still be one of the top programs in the country.
And a little earlier, you mentioned everyone always asks about your kids, so I'm going to go there now as well. Kind of you talking about before how they're playing basketball, how they've developed. What are you seeing from them, and do they mirror your game, or are they a little bit different?
They're better shooters than I was, that's for sure. No, the best thing about it is they love it, and my daughter, who's 9, has a love for the game too. So for me, it's trying to figure out ways to keep that fire burning. Every choice that they make in their extracurricular activities is there. Whether they want to do it or not, it's up to them. It's nothing that we want to force. The only thing we force is that they get good grades. So I'm happier that my kids are all straight A students than they are good basketball players. But my boys have a chance, My daughter hasn't decided what she wants to do, but I think my boys, because of their skill level, have a chance to definitely play in college, but, it still remains to be seen. But to be along with them on that journey is probably the funnest part because I have a hand in their development, their skill building and that kind of thing. So hopefully the Murray name will be heard in the college ranks again.
And one way kids always want to test their game is by playing their parents, but not every parent played college basketball. Yeah. So kind of when you step on the court with them, if you do, do you take them or do they take you?
No, they don't beat me yet. They're not going to beat me until I can't walk anymore. But no, they're good players. It's been close. I haven't played them, as serious as I probably will in the next few years. But they always know Dad's still pretty good. So.
All right. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.